Hi there, it's Donovan.
That should totally be the intro.
You might be thinking, isn't this a little dangerous?
Yes.
When was Mario Kart ever safe?
Dude, stop.
Oh, look,
stop,
a P-switch.
Donovan, stop looking.
Welcome back to another edition of One Last Game, the Tonight Show that doesn't even try to be tonight. And more specifically, we're introducing a new segment known as The Pretentious View, which basically means I have a very nice background, so that means my opinions matter more. And with that out of the way, I want to talk about Mario Kart World's Free Roam. Let's go over the joy that I have with Mario Kart World. I mean, it's a brand new Mario Kart that introduces so much new to the series. It asks the question, how do we top Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And the answer they gave was, we don't. We strive for something new. We steer the opposite direction and go on a completely different course. And I believe firmly that Mario Kart World chose the right decision by expanding its immersive world of the Mario universe and bring that into a collective open world map and stringing together all of the different courses of Mario Kart World. And I believe that is a phenomenal and super fun idea. But the problems that come with Mario Kart World's open world, and more specifically Free Roam, is that it kind of has a sort of lack of content. There really isn't so much to do on the map other than a bunch of key switch missions, with a bunch of question panels, and maybe some Peach medallions. And all in all, Free Roam is feeling a little bit empty to what other open world games provide, especially with its $80 price tag and it being the main selling point of Mario Kart World. But in my opinion, I think that's a little bit of a misunderstanding. I see Free Roam as a sort of side mode to the main course, that being the Grand Prix, the Versus mode, the online mode, and the time trials, and even battle mode. What is that? I find Free Roam to be that sort of side option, that little cherry on top, the dessert to your main meal. And when I see it that way, I think Free Roam truly does shine in being that cozy, relaxing experience you get after racing such tense battles in Knockout Tour or in tough situations in like a tournament with a Grand Prix. Free Roam is that little chill moment where you can just relax and just drive around the courses that you love. Something that I really loved about Mario Kart courses before World, and especially in 8 Deluxe, were the vast amount of detail poured outside of the courses. I always wondered what it'd be like to race over here and check out this area. Now that dream is fully realized in Mario Kart World, and I believe that's one of the strengths of Free Roam. What I love about Free Roam is that how it doesn't throw too much at you. Other open world games like The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, it'll have numerous tasks for you to do, side quests, shrines, light routes, dungeons, all of that for you to indulge in. And for some people, that's the main selling point of the open world game. And Mario Kart World simply does not provide that at face value. Or other games like Assassin's Creed, where it just shoehorns a ton of objectives on your maps and a ton of waypoints for you to check off your little checklist. For Mario Kart World, they don't even give you locations to P-switch missions or question panels or Peach medallions. They don't even tell you how many there are, which is a little, frustrating, but I feel like that is a key point in my enjoyment to Free Roam. Have you ever felt yourself in GTA, or in my case, Lego City Undercover, just driving around aimlessly and doing dumb shit, or just dicking around, just exploring the world with no goal, no aim in mind, just strolling around to your heart's content, exploring what this weird, wacky world provides. And maybe on this side occasion, when you do find something to do, you quickly get through that and move on to your day. I do that in Mario Kart World. After a long knockout tour or a long Grand Prix, I find myself, if I'm by myself, opening up Free Roam, which is just simply, by the developer's design, simply just a side button in the lower right corner of the main menu. It's not really in your face, it's just, a little cherry on top. And Would I find myself opening that menu and going into free roam, which seamlessly enters and brings you to the open world? From there, I could find myself just driving around. If I'm plopped into Sky High Sunday, I'll explore Sky High Sunday and find out where any question block panels are, or if there's any P-switch missions I missed. And even in online mode, after every race, you're plopped into free roam, and where you can drive around with your friends and aimlessly ride around. Isn't that the joy of the road trip, the journey? I find myself just relaxing, driving to one location to another, from Boo Cinema all the way down to DK Spaceport. It's a very relaxing experience. And on the way, when I'm driving to different areas, I find myself getting distracted with something that I didn't even know existed. Maybe a P-switch right there with a really, really hard challenge. Or maybe I find myself a surprise with a question block panel just lying there on the course, or a really hard place each medallion. That's where I find joy, where I'm just aimlessly driving around. And then I find something nice to do. It's not throwing a bunch of objectives in your face. If it did, I would kind of feel overwhelmed in a way, where I have, I gotta do this and this and this. And, some people do want to 100% free roam. But for me, I'll 100% free roam, maybe over the course of 8 years, you could say. I will slowly chip away at free roam. Free roam is never the main priority, the main drive of me going into Mario Kart World. The main drive is the courses, the Grand Prix, the Knockout Tour, especially Knockout Tour. I love that mode. But free roam is something to do on the side, something that I greatly enjoy and just find super calming and relaxing, and kind of alleviating that it doesn't throw so much at me. It throws a little bit, just enough to whet my appetite. Would I love to have more things to do? Of course, but I wouldn't want that to be the main draw of my Mario Kart, and I think that's especially a fault to the marketing of this game. Drive virtually everywhere. Yes, to a point, that does apply to the main course that I said, Grand Prix and Knockout Tours, and especially Knockout Tours, where all the courses are connected seamlessly. That's my favorite mode in Mario Kart World. I really love that. But the marketing kind of made free roam feel like the main course. Like, who cares about the actual races? Free roam is the main draw of this game. And I think to a fault of the marketing, that's a little bit misleading. I feel like the developers, if they really wanted free roam to be the main selling point, they would have made it like a really big and selectable option right next to Grand Prix and multiplayer, single player, multiplayer, Knockout Tour versus, but instead they leave it at the bottom right corner as not even like a big outline, just the PNG plus button free roam. And I feel like that's the developer's intention, to make it sort of a side mission, sort of the dessert to your main course. If they wanted to, they could have made it bigger, and the marketing made it seem like it was bigger than it actually was. Do I wish free roam was bigger? Yes. But I don't wish for it to be like an Assassin's Creed game where they just throw a ton of objectives, or even a Wild Era Zelda game where it's super expansive, super immersive with so many different characters, so many different side quests, main objectives, side objectives, shrines, all of that. I feel like that's a little bit too much for what essentially is just a kart racer. I find what they did with free roam in Mario Kart World to be just enough to satisfy my desire for an open world Mario Kart game. One where I aimlessly drive around, enjoying myself, enjoying the beautiful views, enjoying the beautiful visuals of this Mario Kart game. This game looks phenomenal. In other games like Mario Odyssey, where I'm just running around, finding stuff to do, not really extrinsically motivated by all the different checklists, more so intrinsically motivated by wanting to find cool little secrets, or wanting to enjoy myself on the drive to the next course. Now, Mario Kart World has a ton of problems, especially with the online being so divisive, especially with intermissions. Intermissions are a love-hate relationship for me, or maybe a love kind of tolerate relationship. I do not hate intermissions. I feel like that is the pride and joy of Mario Kart World and what brings so much joy to me, that feeling of being in the gauntlet. I love driving around in the colorful, wonderful world of Mario Kart World, intrinsically motivated to find little cool missions or all the panels or maybe some of the peach medallions. Whatever goes, I love exploring DK Spaceport, Whistletop Summit, Sky High Sunday, Mo Cinema, the Great Question Block Ruins, all with experimenting with the wide mechanics of Mario Kart World where I can just experiment to my heart's content, practice my moves, or if I'm not in the mood, ride into the sunset, ride into that pretentious view. That's all for one last game, and you know the show will not end until one last game. Now, I will not be ending until I beat this damn P-Switch mission.
How the fuck?